Hey everybody, welcome back to Top 9 Podcast. My name's Tom Cassidy, fresh back from La La Land, baby. Feeling good, got no suntan at all. Got a little red on my stomach, but what are you going to do? With me today is my co-host, Adele Carollo.
Hi, everyone at home.
She's hungover. She likes to drink heavily before every episode that we have.
That's not true, but yeah, sometimes.
1 out of 4.
Well, you have to
I can expect
understand.
once a month you're going to come in here hungover.
Sundays, Mondays are my freaking weekend. So
The
we
freaking
record
weekend, baby.
on Mondays. So
Sure.
you're getting me coming in after my night off.
Love it.
Thanks.
Knocking on 40's door. It's right around the corner, huh?
Yeah, we're celebrating all year long.
I can't wait. We're gonna have a very special episode for your 40th episode.
Do we have to?
We're gonna have 40 guests. We're gonna pack them in this room. It's gonna be great. Yes, we are definitely gonna do that. I'm very excited for
I
it.
don't even want to talk about it. Hi, Natalie. Let's talk about something else.
We're gonna introduce our guest. Before we do that, please subscribe on YouTube, rate a review on iTunes, do something on Spotify. I'm confused. Our guest today is the very funny comedian Nataly Aukar. Natalie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm good. Thank you. Your last minute.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming in. Usually we know what the list is, but this happens every now and then when we still don't know what the top 9 list is. So we're finding out at the same time as you. Oh my Lord.
So is that how it usually goes? The person reads the top 9?
So
Stuff.
well, what's your top 9 today?
Okay, so I noticed that you asked me to do that like as I was on my way here. And so I was like, okay, what are the top 9 things that just go through my mind usually?
Okay.
Is that a good
Yeah.
way to
Sure.
look at it?
Are
Now,
you,
what do you mean by that? The thoughts that enter your mind?
Are you an overthinker?
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely am. I feel like there are some things that I didn't put in here because I'm like, maybe I'm not ready to talk about it in public.
Uh-huh.
But these are definitely things that I think about, but I don't know if there's conversation that can be. I feel like Tom could definitely spark conversation. I feel like you could write songs about every one of those topics.
Me?
Yeah, I feel like
I'm a singer-songwriter now?
Yeah, I feel like if I gave you this, you would write a song about every.
No, I love it. We're all in our heads a bunch, especially I feel like we're like walking around the city like
Yeah.
always. I'm not speaking for everybody, but like we're
Mhm.
alone a lot. We're like in our heads, traveling, getting to places. Comics, you guys,
Yeah.
you know, are
Mhm.
little lone rangers walking around.
And, when I was in LA this week, I was staying in an Airbnb, the second one that I was staying in after I got kicked out of the first one. I stumbled upon a book, The 4 Agreements. Have you heard about this?
Never.
So The 4 Agreements is a book, it's like a self-help book or whatever.
Mm.
And one of the things is be kind with your words. I think that's the first agreement.
Like with your words to yourself.
Words in general, yeah, to yourself, to other people, everything. And, words, thoughts, they go together. And, like, we are our thoughts as
Yeah.
well. So it's, like, one of those things of, like, kind of, it's like your software in your head. So, like, what you think about is kind of, like, what you manifest. I'm getting kind of deep today.
Yeah. No, but I agree, and it's my. I was talking about that with my therapist actually, and she was telling me like, force yourself to tell yourself good things. Even I'm like, I don't do that. I was like, I don't do that. I kind of feel dumb. I'm not like that's not real. But she's like, okay, all right, sure, but just try.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start telling, like you force feed thoughts into your head, but it kind of works.
It really
Yeah.
does work. I've only recently tried that, and it started happening when we were opening up the second location of the stand. Me and Rachel, the other manager, were so stressed out and so overwhelmed. We started literally saying mantras like, I am capable of anything I put my mind to. I easily complete my tasks. Like we would like tell ourselves these things like, I easily could do my job. I'm good at my job. And
Yeah.
it started to work. It started to like sink in, and you started to really believe it and feel it. So
Is that what manifesting is? I guess.
yeah,
That's what manifesting is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
putting it out there in the universe.
And then there's the opposite of it, and I forget where I read this too, but like, let's say like, you do something dumb and you're like, I'm an idiot, even if you're not like serious, like even if you're just like kind of like joking, there's like a thing of like your brain doesn't know if you're joking or not to a certain extent, especially if you say it too much. So there's like,
Totally.
it works both ways, I'm capable of anything, or I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I suck, or I'm the worst, or I procrastinate and whatever. Like I'm hard on myself.
Yeah.
Those,
Either way, you're right. So you got it. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
whatever you say is,
Is what's gonna happen. Is what you become.
So all 9 of your things are just negative.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, they're not negative.
No,
They're just
good.
very random.
Yeah. And then, you have to control what comes into your mind, too. So
That's
whatever,
hard, though.
I know it is. So, all right.
That's
I know
part of the
there's-
4 things you still.
One of them is, like, one of the other 4 agreements was, like, which is so... Basically, the 4 agreements, all of them are, like, so anti-comedy. It's crazy.
Right.
Like, it's like comedy is built on, like, the opposite of all of these things. Because, like, the one other one was, like, it was about, like, gossiping. Like, you shouldn't gossip. And, like, so many... All comedy is gossiping.
And negative
We're,
talk.
like, shit-talking. Yeah. So I'm trying to...
Dan Soder has a joke like, I'm not going to come up here and be like, my relationship with my mother is great. Like, what are we talking about up here?
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
So, all right. We're going to get into it.
Okay.
Generally, top 9, this is kind of... Whatever number 1 is like your favorite thought.
That takes up the most space in your mind that you think about most
if that
often.
makes sense. Because it's your top 9 favorite. But
Gotcha.
all good either way. I'm just saying at number 1, it should be the one that you're like, oh, that's nice.
You know what's crazy?
And I would push back because you're saying there's some you're keeping off the list. Maybe throw one of them on there and cut off one of those other ones.
I'll
we'll
see
see
how
how
I feel.
comfortable you
Yeah,
get.
we'll see how comfortable I get.
Yes.
As we go. It's funny because the first thing I wrote is definitely not. It's just my first one on the list was
Top 9, number 9.
Okay, we'll make it number 9. Although I wrote it first. It's the first thing that came to my mind. Wallpapers.
Okay.
Wallpaper?
I love wallpapers. Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Just like any wallpaper?
No, like I feel like as you become an adult, like different things start to like fascinate you. And I used to hate wallpapers as a kid because like to me it just like looked like it always looked like a grandma's house or like just like haunted.
It's confusing me because you're pluralizing wallpaper. So you're just saying all different kinds of wallpapers.
Yeah, and now I love wallpapers. Like it's something that I trip on. I Google wallpapers a lot. I look at.
I understand that because I feel like wallpaper is like taking a risk as a designer. Like you're going for it. So you might be scared to do it yourself, but to like people watch other folks at home and what they do with it because it's endless possibilities. Some of these designers really go for it.
And I feel like sometimes it's not even designers, just like regular people. To put a wallpaper up means you have like such a strong understanding of who you are as a person. I feel like the confidence to be like, I'm going to stick this to my wall. It's going to take over. I just saw a sample of it, but I know it's going to look good because I know what I like.
Yeah.
So true.
I'm like, whoa, this person like really has it figured out.
And the pressure of keeping it straight for me blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like you can't exactly step back and be like, oh no, and like fix it. Like
can't.
Once
You're
it's
taking a
done,
risk.
it's done.
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. The Stan's green room has wallpaper, right?
It's so pretty.
Yeah, a
Like
professional. Like if they were like, "Oh, put this up," I the pressure of that. I was like, the flowers are crooked. Like,
Yeah.
I could not handle
But
it.
see, some people don't even think about it. They're like, I see this, I like it, I'm gonna put it up, and it's gonna work, and it does. And I feel like the whole notion behind wallpapers, I feel like is what really, I'm like, whoa.
And now here's my song about wallpapers. The wall. No. Yeah, you're right. It's crazy. I've never been I appreciate wallpaper, you know, I appreciate it. It is the grandmom vibe to it. But it's like a cool grandmom, you know?
I would do like an accent wall, like a singular wall, but I don't know if I can commit.
Do you have wallpaper in your house?
No.
See?
No.
So there's a difference between you and someone who does. Do you know what I mean? I don't either.
Yeah. I feel like it's like a designer would have it in their house or you're just kind of like move in and it's already there.
No, then you take that off. I think even like landlords
Sometimes.
scrape that. You have to.
You have to
You
remove.
can't take on somebody else's wallpaper choice.
Yeah.
I do recall an episode of $1 Million
Insanity.
Listing where the lady had really crazy wallpaper and she was like, I'm not taking it off.
What was the wallpaper?
It had like a kind of like a Miami vibe with like leaves and stuff.
Like
Kind
this?
of like that. Yeah, a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I like. You could have a room that looked like that. If you
Me?
not you as a person, like
Oh.
someone. Like if I walked
You could
in-
have that wall.
Yeah, ferns are a thing.
Yeah.
But like, you ever see like the mural wallpapers where people actually like paint right on the wall? That's wild to me. too.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that though.
Yeah,
I don't really like those. I feel like it looks like a kid's room.
totally.
You know.
Your brain so far is an interesting place. It's just like wallpaper pops in.
Yeah, it's been weird. It's like a new thing. I've been thinking about wallpaper a lot, and I think it's because the envy of the confidence and the organization and like the mental, I feel like there's just,
it's a certain type of person.
you know?
Like,
You too can have wallpaper, Natalie.
That's what I strive to become.
Mhm.
A person who just like goes, buys wallpapers, puts it up, and it looks right in the house.
This is good beginning self-talk. I can have wallpaper.
I can be that person if I wanted to.
Uh-huh. Well, that was an interesting number 9. I can't wait for what number 8 is. Coming in at number 8.
OCD.
You
Okay.
think about OCD?
Yeah.
Do you have
You don't?
OCD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not? Does anybody not? I feel like you either have OCD or you don't know you have it.
it's
What does
levels.
OCD stand for?
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Uh-huh. I mean, there's
so many
varying
levels.
degrees. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you obsess over?
Health and germs
Okay.
and things that touch my mouth,
That's an easy one
you know?
to do. The mic ever touch your mouth when you're performing?
It has historically, and it ruins me every time. It ruins me every time. So now like I make sure to hold it like really low.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes like just like it's like I'm like, please put it up because I'm gonna hold it low.
Uh-huh.
But it's I've had it touch my mouth, and for the rest of my set, it's all I can think about, and I make sure that my lips don't touch each other.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I get off stage, I run to the bathroom and I wash my mouth with soap.
Yeah, you gotta.
Sometimes I've almost swallowed soap. Like I've almost drank soap because of how grossed out I get when the mic touches
Yeah.
my mouth.
A couple months after the pandemic, when we were allowed to perform, I mean, I guess it's still going on. I don't think so. But like when we were first getting back inside, there was a comedian who was performing, and they were performing like this, and I was like, dude, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like after
Yeah.
he was done, I was like,
Yeah.
what
Are you
are you
insane?
crazy?
What did he say?
He was. I feel like he was like, oh, I didn't really notice that I do that. I know I keep it close. I was like, how do you not know?
Yeah.
Plus, like, I had to use that microphone after him.
Yeah, but what you do after that is your.
Oh,
you
I
know,
sanitized it for
yeah,
sure.
of course.
I don't know if that actually did anything or not.
Well, with COVID, we were sanitizing mics and switching them out, and I was like literally handing it to the next comic with the wipe on the mic to change hands.
Yeah.
And I kind of missed that because it was like, why aren't we always doing this? Like,
Yeah.
we'll sanitize the mic at the end of the show and like maybe a couple times a week, but for the most part, and I'll be honest, sometimes I smell like I'll get a whiff of the mic.
No, why would you do that?
Yeah, someone's got a funky breath.
It's bad. It's bad. Like I don't even mean to, but like I don't know. Like I know it's there, so I'll like tell myself like it's gonna smell bad, and then sure enough it does.
Mhm.
Why'd
But you
do
do it to
that?
yourself
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, fucking weirdo.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, also like OCD is like it's like the whole point of OCD is that you're obsessing over it. So if you
Yeah.
think about it, it's almost like it's just like a circular thing that never stops.
Yeah, but it's so intrusive. I think that's the thing with it. It's just like intrusive, and sometimes I'm not even thinking about it. My body reacts without
Yeah.
me
I
thinking.
think about I watched like a MTV True Life like of an OCD story that's like really compulsive with the washing your hands where they get raw and dry. It must be such like a tormented life in the sense that like your body you were mentioning is taking over your mind, like you have no control and you can't stop it. That's
You
the
can't.
obsessive part.
Yeah.
Like
I've had points when it got so bad where I would just like lose my mind. Like it's like periods, you know, when it gets really, really bad. And
I wasn't sure if you actually meant periods or not.
no.
But yes, okay. Menstrual cycles. Is that
No,
what
no,
we're
no,
talking?
no, periods of life, like periods of time.
Oh.
did the pandemic
period.
spike
Literally,
it, I
thought-
imagine.
yeah, okay. So you didn't
Actually,
mean
no.
that. Oops.
Oh.
The pandemic didn't make it worse because I was already doing whatever you needed to do to avoid getting sick.
Yeah, you're like,
Gotcha.
oh, wash your hands through the
Yeah.
whole ABC song.
Yeah.
Do it every
Cute,
time.
yeah.
Get over it.
And I actually like the masks. I'm like, the idea of the mask, I'm like, I love the fact that I'm not ingesting anyone's air right now.
Yeah,
Like-
you were practicing your whole life.
I was
for the
getting
pandemic.
ready for this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Coming in at number 7,
Okay.
Into the Mind.
PTSD, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, PTSD.
You think about PTSD.
Think about PTSD. Yeah, I think about PTSD.
Do you have PTSD?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Do you? over anything?
Yeah, life. Being in comedy for 12 years.
So you're not in the post then. You're in the TSD.
I mean, the beginning of it.
I mean,
yeah, I know.
It's helpful to think that's why. Like, I like to blame it on my PTSD. That's why I'm chronically single, because of my past relationship.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Why?
Dude,
oh my God.
because last episode, you like casually brought up how a girl got a train ran on her in high school.
Yeah, and somebody went in the comments, that's her boyfriend. It was my boyfriend in high school, like not the same guy.
Yeah, one of your boyfriends in high school.
Wait. Your boyfriend?
Yeah.
What? He jumped? What? What happened?
So-
he ran a train on a girl
Yeah,
with
isn't
a
that terrible?
few other fellas.
On purpose?
Yeah, the girl, it was
You don't
consensual.
you don't run a train on somebody by accident.
No. Maybe he was like.
No, it was.
He walked into the room and they were running a train on her. Do you know what we're
A
talking
room?
about right now?
No, I'm so confused.
Okay, a train
I imagined
is when
like a subway.
a train is when a girl and a bunch of other fellas take turns having sex with her.
Oh,
Have you heard of this?
Never heard this
Why
term.
the fuck do people not know what a train is?
I don't know. Hopefully, because it's not happening as often.
But
I
anyway.
thought he was like driving a train. Like the way I imagined it is like you put a girl on the tracks.
Yes.
And he roped her in.
Oh,
You know,
like a
not-
cartoon villain from the 20s?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, that is
No.
so specific. So did he steal a train?
How do you get the train? I'm so confused.
But I'm sure that girl has PTSD over that. But
Yeah,
I feel like
seriously.
But
I
it was
re-
consensual, and she was like, I vibe with that. And how
Yeah.
many guys?
If I had a guess, I think it was like at least 6 or 7.
More
And they
than
were
a
all in
basketball
high
team.
school, all of them. Her and them
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
She had to go back to like
Take
high school
turns.
and see them after.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did she ever talk about it?
No, we never actually talked to the girl.
Oh.
Well, why I brought it up was because I feel like we really just kind of like brushed over it. And when I like rewatched it, I was like, how did I not talk about that for the entire rest of the episode?
Maybe
and I
you
have
also
PTSD
thought-
over that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
Very
crazy.
candid on this podcast. I just,
I think everybody, sure, and I appreciate that. I think, and I think we collectively have PTSD from the past 2 years too.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
Like,
think we're at the. I think about that a lot too, and I just don't think we've processed this yet. I think we're
it's
still
impossible to.
Yeah, because we're still so deep in it, you know.
Mhm.
But I think in a few years when you're really gonna remember, and then when
Yeah.
people are gonna bring it up, and you're gonna go, please don't talk about this time. This is
Mhm.
when you're gonna realize, you're gonna be like, whoa, why does this feel like that?
Yeah.
And I think that's when you get to the post. I feel like now we're just so in it. I'm still in survival mode. I also got COVID recently, and it was the worst fucking thing I've ever gone through.
Really?
Yeah,
When'd you get it?
3 weeks ago.
Oh, you're fresh off.
I'm fresh off.
Oh yeah, I remember you posting about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Yeah. Right. And
I
I'm
was not a
like,
fan.
When did you have it?
I got it right before Christmas.
Oh.
So like I was good basically Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, which
Good. Right on time.
Mhm.
I dodged it that wave.
yeah.
that was your Christmas miracle. You made
This
it.
little wave's weird. It's like a little wave, but like
I
people
feel like
are
it's
getting
a
it a
pretty
little.
big, but it's just that it's not getting
People
reported.
just don't give a shit anymore because it's
Yeah.
springtime.
It kind of feels like now when you get COVID, they're like, shh.
Yeah, exactly. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And you never had it before that.
No.
That's what's crazy. Getting it at this point is tough because it's like, God damn, you got through it this much.
Well, because I was one of those really careful people.
Were you not careful when you got it?
I thought I was. I don't know how I got it because
Okay.
I think it was from a weekend of shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the only one out of all the comics, and a lot of people were hanging out. A lot of the comics were hanging out.
They
that
probably already
weekend.
all had it though. They're
That's what I'm
monsters.
thinking. Yeah, they probably all had it, but also like there's a couple who had it, and I'm the only one who tested positive, and I was also the only one who was masked all the time unless I was on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my friends was like, "It's the mask that gave it to you. So you trapped the COVID inside the mask." And now that he said that, like I have OCD, so when you say something like that to me, it just becomes part of me.
Yeah.
And it's like it's who I am. Not like that little thought he put in my head. Although I'm like, can't be real. Like that's not what happened. But now every time I look at my mask and I put it on, I'm like, shit, I'm trapping stuff in it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kill myself with this mask now. I'm like, don't say things like that to me because I don't process them the way a regular person does.
I feel like we're doing this podcast inside of your brain right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
my
love it. It's very interesting.
Absolutely.
This is a cool
yeah,
episode.
my brain takes me places and it's just like fucking hell. You know? It's horrible what goes on in there.
Coming in at number 6.
Okay. Number 6, aggressiveness. Like
Giving
Explain.
it, taking it.
I think giving it and also taking it. I feel like I'm a person who's aggressive when I don't like something and also aggressive when I do. And
Okay.
so I'm
I
just
like
like,
that.
yeah, I'm just like a naturally aggressive person.
So when you're saying it, are you when it's in your head and you're thinking about it, you're thinking about how you're either aggressive or not aggressive, or how other people are aggressive?
I think both. I just think
Okay,
aggressiveness
sorry.
is such an interesting like just what is it, a feeling or like a behavioral thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just like because I was thinking about that, I was like, when I really don't like someone, I get aggressive with them, and then if I really like someone,
What's your version of being aggressively mean to someone?
I wouldn't say aggressively mean. I just say aggressive. I feel like I have an aggressive energy.
Okay.
You know, like I don't know how to be tender.
But
Yeah.
why would you be tender with someone you don't like?
Some people are passive,
Yeah.
and they just like a recluse, and they don't like someone, they just stay away. Like you're like an alpha female. Like you show the fuck up.
I don't know if that was what it is.
Yeah,
I
feel
th- I-
that.
yeah.
Can you give me an example of how you would be aggressive to someone you don't like?
Like if they would talk to me,
Mm-hmm.
I would stare, acknowledge that I heard them talk to me, and then I would turn around and leave.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want you to know I hear you and I see you, but I don't want to do this.
But I'm not participating.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just like I feel like that's aggressive.
That's passive aggressive.
Is it passive? I feel like it's
Because you're not
pretty
doing
direct.
anything except, well, you can't not communicate. So,
Mm.
like, if someone's saying something to you and then you just look at them and
Yeah.
then leave,
Yeah.
yeah, there has to be. It's passive because you're not you're leaving. It's both. I think it's the definition.
So next
of
time,
passive
just be
aggressive.
like, after all that, be like, no.
Yeah.
I want to, but there's something inside of me that's just like fights it a little bit. That's like, don't be too mean, but also be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I'm annoyed, I'm too annoyed to speak. I can't
Been
say
there.
anything. You know what I
I've been
mean?
there.
Yeah, you
Sometimes
just
that's
stand there.
better. Sometimes it's better not to say anything. Generally, you know.
Yeah, I
I
really
think so.
I think so too.
I have to control it with my staff because, HR fucking, I don't want to get fucking sued, but like there are moments where I just want to fucking pounce and
Yeah.
Yeah.
tell them about themselves a little bit. And
Mhm.
I have to do like a woosah. Like
Mhm.
I feel that aggression like come over me.
Yeah.
And I've learned to control it a little bit.
I feel like when you're managing people, that's like a skill that's like you have to hone, and it's just like that's why I'm like I don't know if I ever could.
Yeah.
Like I'm afraid to be a mom because of that. I'm like I'm gonna traumatize my children if
I like legitimately. I like being a part of a team, but I also like being in control. Like I like giving people like if I know what I'm doing and like whatever that is, I do like that. But
yeah, me
I know what you
too.
mean.
Me too, but it's dangerous sometimes because it's like not everyone works like you,
Sure. Yeah.
and that's when it gets tricky.
Absolutely. It is tricky. Yeah, I get aggressive. Like I notice this anytime I think I have like stand up figured out, like I'll like if I go on a run of like on like let's just example like a Friday, like last Friday or something, I feel like I had like 2 shows where they were like the best shows I've had.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got this shit like figured out, man. Like, and anytime that happens, I always forget that I don't and like lose it. Like then like the next day I had a show and the security guard wasn't there and they had this other security guard there who wasn't really a security guard. And I had a heckler for the first like 2 minutes of my set.
Yeah.
So like when the heckler starts right at the beginning, you don't have the crowd on your side yet to a certain extent. And like the security guard wasn't doing their job. And like I got through like the first joke, acknowledged her and told her to like be quiet. And then like she did it again. And I was just like, lady, shut the up. And I just like lost it on her for like a minute.
Yeah.
And like I got the crowd like enough back, but it was just like an awkward situation
Mm-hmm.
that like I was super aggressive, and like with stand up that never works generally unless you like. I was right.
Being aggressive.
I was right, but I was also wrong because like
Yeah.
you can't because with aggression comes anger, and generally with stand up, if you're like mad, it's probably not going to be funny. You know, especially if it's the very beginning of the
Yeah.
show.
I feel like I've had it go both ways.
It could. I'm just saying if it's not the first couple minutes,
Yeah.
because they don't even know who the fuck I am yet. They haven't even decided if they like me yet. So it's
Yeah.
like one of those things. But it can go both ways.
Yeah, that happened to me. That reminds me of like a time I did a gig at Syracuse University like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up on stage and it was like at a frat or something. It was like a frat that got us out there. So it was like the frat, the guys, there was like 60 guys and then 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who these girls were, but
they
were there.
They were the train girls.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Don't. So they're sitting front row. I don't know how they got selected to be the 2 girls there, but
Mm-hmm.
so front row, and I go up on stage, and I was taking the mic off the stand. I had been on stage at that point for like maybe 2.5 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes, "Start your jokes." And then I don't do this stuff. I can't take stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I grabbed the mic and I looked at her and I went, "Fucking relax, bitch."
Uh-huh.
But what I hadn't realized at the moment was that when she said that to me, I heard her, but anyone past second row
Mhm.
didn't.
Yeah.
So what 85% of the room saw was just a girl come up and be like, "Fucking relax, bitch." And they were like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And then I just went into my set.
Yeah.
And then the whole room was just staring at me the whole set. And it was just it's probably one of the worst bombs I've ever had. And I was just like, why are they such fucking college little bitch assholes? You know?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to curse here? I don't even know.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because you beeped your F. But
I'm just trying. Yeah, I'm being thoughtful. I
Yeah.
usually curse so much.
Okay.
I'm trying to be kind with my words.
see, that's my aggressiveness. It comes out like I'm feeling it again. What I felt that night, I'm like feeling it now, and I'm like ready to fight. You know?
Yeah, well, because also the same way, like that girl was such a cunt, right? And like my heckler was also like, she wasn't even trying to be helpful. She was like literally trying to like get me. Like one of the girls I had 2 interactions with audience members during the show after that, where like I talked to people when they went to the bathroom or whatever. And the one girl from the group was like, "Hey, don't say this, but we hate her. She just goes out with our one friend. And sorry, she sucks." And then I had a jazz musician come out, and he was like, "Hey, you recovered well from that because I didn't think you were going to be able to." So that was like kind of nice,
Yeah.
but yeah, aggression.
Wouldn't it have been great if you had run into this girl in the bathroom before your set? And then you could have just said that to her while you were on stage, being like, "Yeah, you know what? I just ran into your friend in the bathroom, and she said no one likes you."
Yeah, she told me not to say that on stage, so I didn't want to break the contract. I'd rather just say it here.
I would have said it to her on stage if I knew that, and she
That's
was.
your aggression part.
Yeah, I would have said it.
Well, I thought that woman was being like thoughtful enough to be like, "Hey, I'm sorry." So I didn't want to like, it wasn't that
Betray
lady's
her.
fault. Yeah.
But her aggressiveness, that you saw that as ammunition. You're like, "Oh, I could hurt them."
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, it would be kind of weird just because it's like, I don't know, it's like snitching. Like, hey, guess what? And then like, I don't know. But yeah, coming in at number 5.
Okay. When do you decide you're over a topic?
Well, we have an hour, so I have to
So we have
just-
to go. Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Shame. Do you have it, Tom?
Do I have shame?
Ever?
I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and I'm Irish Catholic, so
Yeah.
yes,
So
absolutely.
what did shame look like for you?
Man, like
Because I feel like for men it's definitely different than for women. Like, did you have shame at all?
Lately, what comes to mind that I'm like thinking of
you're 40.
Well, speaking of being older, shame fades. When you get
Mm.
older, you're more secure and you
That's nice.
feel like who the fuck you are and like you make no apologies.
Mm.
But lately, I've been struggling with my shame of how much I quit smoking pot about a month ago because I was feeling shame about that.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like with anything, if you abuse it, you lose the privilege of doing it. Like same thing with alcohol and pot's like downplayed so much more because
Yeah.
it's legal and people kind of don't really see it as such a serious thing. But like alcohol or other drugs, if you do it too much, you don't get to do it anymore.
What was the point where you were like, I need to stop this?
So it's silly, but my passport was expiring in July, and I knew that it was expiring in July, but I was like, I have 6 months. This is back in
You rolled
February.
a joint with your passport?
No, I kept procrastinating it, and then I find out you can't travel if it expires within a 6-month period. So I had to like expedite it, spend $1,000 to get it done, and I don't know why, but I blamed my procrastination in smoking pot, because on my days off, I could be handling my shit more and taking care of things, but I'll smoke and not.
Yeah.
And I associated it with my laziness and shame. I have shame for that. And
Okay.
now that I haven't smoked in a month, it's not like I'm like crushing and killing it.
That's
So
what I was
I'm
gonna
like-
ask.
I'm like, wait a minute, was I blaming pot? But
Yeah.
that was a process for me, that if I was feeling guilty about it, feeling shame, I have control, like fix it or do something about it.
Well, if you realize that, let's say in a month, you're like, well, nothing much changed, so it clearly wasn't the pot.
Yeah.
Would you start again? Or are you like feeling good about not doing
I'm
it?
feeling good about not doing it. I was talking to Tom about how I like, because a lot of the comics smoke in the green room.
Yeah.
And now that I'm not smoking, I like I take a glance at some of the people that are high, and I'm like, stay on the path, Adele. Like,
yeah,
you're
you're like-
doing the right thing.
When I went into that green room,
Yeah.
that was it smelled like that weed did not smell good. It smelled, and it smelled like hiney hole.
And I'm trying
me.
I'm
Like what?
Hiney hole?
What's that?
Butt,
Like
like smell like butt.
Butthole.
Oh.
I don't know why that was the case. Maybe it was like a mixture of like people eating in there, like food.
I don't
and
know,
pot.
but yeah, it was not it definitely wasn't a good commercial for weed.
And I was seeing
That green
now I'm
room.
seeing people, comics sadly, that they just can't smoke enough. Like that's kind of where I was at too. That like it would last maybe 30 minutes, half an hour. I never smoked at work, but
Yeah.
before or after, and like that's every day, and how many years? And I just was like, oh. And then I see the guys and gals who smoke so regularly, and not for lack of a better word, it feels pathetic or sad that they just are chasing this high and continuously smoking, the fire and the burning and the smoke. Now I'm starting to like see it, and not
Whoa.
without trying to be judgmental, because I was just there a month ago.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's keeping me focused on the fact that I don't want to be a pothead. I don't want to be a pothead. Eventually incorporate it, like on my trip to St. Martin, I totally smoked a joint with my girlfriends, but like on the beach and smoked a joint. And,
Yeah.
like, no regrets. But I'll tell you, when I came home, there was a little bit of like moment where I was like,
Yeah.
"Ah!" And now it's so easy to get. There's literally a truck on my corner,
Right.
a store on my block.
Yeah.
I'm like walking by it like this. Don't look. But it'll get easier and get better. But yeah, dealing with shame, I don't know. I had a whole episode with feeling shame about my pot smoking.
Sure.
Wow.
But other than that, yeah, as I've gotten older, I've kind of unapologetically me, so it's less. It's
And when you
coming.
were younger, did you grow up in like a religious or like
no,
culturally conservative household?
I didn't. I mean, my father was super strict with us, but I was like a sneaky little slut. Like I would wear like fucking big shirts with like crop tops, a big shirt,
Underneath.
and like leave my house and take it off, throw it in the bushes.
Yeah, yeah. I used
was
to do
out
that
of
too.
Control.
Yeah.
So like I made it work. So no shame, actually. Fucking confident whore running around. Now cut to a couple years later, I felt shame and guilt about my promiscuous ways. And I actually think, if I like was psychoanalyzing myself, that's why I've slowed down so much with the promiscuity, because I had such a quick start
That's usually how that works.
when I was super young.
Yeah.
And I have guilt and shame about it, or I had. So the last 10 years, I've been like selective, but maybe that's my shit where I'm just like, you need to fucking get your numbers, keep your numbers stagnant, because you fucking racked them up the first few years.
That's
Yeah.
good. But that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's the right way to do it, probably. But then I
Probably.
hear that when the older ladies, that's when they reach their peak, though, too. Anyway, whatever. What do you have shame
Yeah,
about?
what do you struggle with when it comes to shame? What are you thinking about?
I think definitely sexuality. I definitely have shame when it comes to that. Although I didn't think I did. I thought I feel like before I left my country, I thought I was just like, this is just who I am. This is how I was brought up. Like, I feel like it was ingrained so like deep in me that I was just like, it's not shame. It's just me. It's my preference. I don't like to be a sexual person. I don't like people knowing anything about what I'm doing. This is just who I am. And then I left and I was like not at home anymore. So no one really could see or tell me anything. But still, I couldn't get myself to do anything because I was just like, even sex with the lights on, I'm just like, it's not because of like the lights being on for my body or anything like that. It's more so of like, I feel just watched. I feel watched all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just that like brings those feelings,
Yeah.
you know?
Mood lighting.
Tom's solution.
He just stares straight at the camera.
Mood lighting, folks. That's a way to get rid of shame. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
You know?
Yeah, sure. Was that 5?
We did 5 stuff.
I think that
I'll
was
tell you
So
1,
4.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, we did 5. We did 5. My next one was
Coming in at number 4.
zombie movies.
You think about zombie movies a lot.
I love. Yeah, I have a. I hate, like I hate horror, but I love like post-apocalyptic. Zombie.
Do you think about it like think it might happen? Think about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think it really might happen.
Okay.
I fantasize about a zombie. I don't know if fantasize is like the word because I do believe that if it did happen, I'd be like, no. But I used to watch like zombie movies and like I watched The Walking Dead religiously. I used to watch and I was so obsessed with it, and then it became kind of like I just see zombie apocalypse everywhere around me. Like it became to a point where every time I would walk by a building, for example, I'd be like, this is a perfect door to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a zombie apocalypse, I should probably be in this building because like the zombies would not be able to break through that steel door. Or if I walked by another building, I'm like, weak door, the zombies could get in. I would never live
Yeah,
there.
I like irrationally use the rules. Like daylight, they burn in daylight. I gotta make
Right.
sure like
But then that depends of which zombies.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
I Am Legend zombies burn in the daylight. I'm Walking Dead zombies, they're
thriving.
thriving. Or like Zombieland zombies super fast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of those. Like if I
Yeah.
had to choose which zombies, I would choose Walking Dead zombies. They're dumb. They're just like slow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and so like I have like I just think it's so cool. Like in parts of the show, sometimes like the survivors are like going around empty towns, and they go in houses and they open kitchen cupboards, go into bedrooms, like see stuff, and they just go in to see a world. It feels like a museum, kind of like the world becomes a museum. And I
Yeah.
was always super like, I was like, this is so cool. Like imagine like this whole town right now. If I were to go like, for example, I was in DC this weekend and I was driving through like suburban like neighborhoods that were so beautiful, like huge houses. And I was thinking immediately like, oh my God, if there was a zombie apocalypse and this town was like completely ghosted, I would love to just like read through every house here.
Yep. But
And
then you
just-
got to be worried about fucking a zombie in there.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I'll
Taking
get
a bite
like
out
a
of your arm or
sword.
something. I always worry about that. Well, COVID, and I don't want to talk about COVID the whole time, but it's like that thing of like when you don't know if you have COVID or not, but you think you might. It's
Yeah.
like a zombie bite.
But a zombie bite, you have.
Yeah.
You know?
You're right. Yeah,
You're
because
like-
you can see it.
And you felt the bite.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like that's true also for COVID. A lot of people know they have
Yeah,
it,
you
and they're
kinda
just
know.
walking around. They're like,
If
it'll be fine.
Alex got bit by a zombie, would you offer? Could you offer? If you knew she was gonna turn into a zombie in 12 hours.
What other option do I have?
I mean,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think about that too. Like,
I
what
think
would you
about
do?
that.
Like, if
What
this
would you
person
do?
that I love got
Yeah.
bit, what do
Uh-huh.
I do?
and it's like a countdown before they
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
I mean, you're engaged. I just
Sure,
wanted to
Yeah.
yeah.
What would you do if your fiance got bit?
I would just let her bite me too.
Aw,
Really?
that's such
No,
a
you
good
wouldn't.
answer.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
Are you
How
serious?
dare you
That
You
is
try to
a
give me
really
shame for my
cute
PTSD?
answer.
What
Of
PTSD?
zombie. I'm just trying to incorporate all of the into
How
my
dare you?
wallpaper.
Yeah. I wouldn't. If my loved one got bit, I'd be like, well,
Well, the thing is, something
Gotta
like
go.
that,
I'd
something
like hug them real tight and then break their neck.
then they might bite
I
you.
love you.
You know, something like that. You can say what you would do, but it's like anything. Like you don't really know
No,
what you
until
would
you're
do
there.
until it happens.
yeah. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, like, I do wonder if it'll ever happen, and it probably will, just because everything else
No.
happens.
Zombies, no.
Have you ever been to
Zombies, no.
Kensington in Philadelphia, or
No.
like other places where there's like, I mean, the real zombie are
That's
people
heroin.
on heroin. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, crackheads
You
like
can't
that.
catch it.
That is, well, you can if you become addicted to it.
Sure.
But like the lean thing, do you ever see like the people leaning off of like heroin and shit like that?
She's talking about eating flesh. Well, actually, that's probably possible.
But you can
too.
be like
Bath salts,
zombie-like.
people on
but-
bath salts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like the real practical application of zombies in reality right now are people that are like addicted to like hard drugs, and they could bite you, and they might have something that would infect you.
rabies.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But I mean, that's the practical application.
But that's not
of zombies.
zombies, though.
All right, fair
It's
enough.
just like weird stuff going on.
Hey, yes, and okay.
Okay.
Aggressive. No. What if you just walked out?
I would never.
Thank you. Coming in at number 3.
Top 3. Here we go.
Parents.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I think about my parents a lot, like all the time. I feel like I'm obsessed with my parents. And I feel like anybody who's grown up with their parents should be.
Yeah. Well,
You
it's going back to shame for a minute and then rounding it out with parents, right? Like when you said you didn't know how to like act when you were alone with like not people watching you or whatever when you were in the city by yourself. You really you can't see anything until you're away from it from a while.
Yeah.
Like where you're from or your parents and stuff like that. Like you
Right.
can't really even have a full understanding of these things until you're like older and away from it, and you can like look at it from far away to a certain extent. But yeah, my parents are I think about them a lot. I mean, you're a product of them.
You're proud of your parents?
A product of them.
A product. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
I feel like when you're younger, you think about your parents, not in a negative way, but like in a way where you're just like, oh, my parents. Like you try to avoid them. You don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to get caught. And then as an adult, you think about your parents like my parents. Like you just like value them. I'm like,
Yeah. There's definitely a switch.
There's a switch.
And I feel like this is the first year I go through that. When I just went home for Christmas and I came back, I was like, I felt something in my body switch that went, oh, fuck. I'm not angry anymore. I'm worried now. I've switched to appreciation and worry. There's still some times where something happens to me and I'm reminded of something that they inflicted on me and I get pissed again. But in general, it's like, I feel like growing up is like that. It's when that switch happens and you're like, oh, I understand now a little bit.
I think, as long as parents, right? Like both of my parents are absolutely, I'm going to look right into the camera. They're absolutely insane. But I also know that they love me. You know what I mean?
How are they insane?
My mom is crazy. My dad is probably crazier, and I think they go back and forth. They're like the yin and yang of crazy because they're different crazy.
Are they still together?
Somehow. And I also think that like it's interesting to become a comedian, right? I feel like I had to be a comedian because of the combination of them. Like to want to be a comedian, I think it has a lot to do with your parents.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
And it's not all negative. It's also positive, like watching stand up with them and like enjoying it together, or like going to movies, like comedies and stuff like that. So it's like a combination of like good and bad things that make people a comedian.
Yeah.
And your parents, I think, are the number one reason, probably, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, parents affect most of your decisions, career being one, but who you choose to marry, who even your friends growing up. I don't know. They have
If
a lot of
kill your
influence.
fiance if she becomes a zombie, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't really think about it that way. Like when I talk to my friends that are not comedians, they don't really think about their parents as much for some reason. They don't. I feel like I'm in a constant, and I don't know if it has to do with anything if it has to do with being a comedian or as much as it has to do with how much they, like, their presence was very aggressive in my life. And I think that's more of that, maybe. It's just like everything that I go through, every feeling that I feel, everything that moves me in any sort of way, good or bad, my mind just goes back to them and goes just like, fuck, like if you only had done this just like a little bit differently. And it's just like, yeah, I'm always thinking about them. Like if we go back to my OCD, I'm thinking about them and I'm like, this is probably you.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad, when I would leave the house, he'd like, when I'd close the door of my house, he'd be like, always push, pull, make sure it's really actually closed. Push and pull the door.
My dad's like that with the air conditioner.
Yeah, turn it off and on just to make sure
just
it's
like,
off.
don't turn it on.
Yeah, why?
But yeah, or like they have a shore house. It would be like all the things of like you got to turn all of the like switches off because they want to like save electricity and like make sure this door's locked and the windows are locked and like all of that shit. And like if you miss one thing, yeah, it's like
it's done. Like it's disaster.
I think it's kind of funny, but
Your kids are like the humans you can control though too. Like like if you have this like tick or you want this to happen, who's gonna listen more than your kid? They have to.
Yeah.
So your ass is there with the door like.
Yeah, and it's their trauma also, and their things that they're like just shooting back onto you.
yeah,
And now it's you.
yeah.
Now you got it.
Well, I think about like how like whatever we think reality is right now is really like literally the past like 120 years. Because like before that, we were like mud people basically in like this country, and like just like people were just like there was nothing even here. It was just like farms and shit. And like so like we're only like 3 generations removed from that. And like it's just crazy to think about how I don't know. It boggles my mind of where we are right now. And I'm just saying like those parents were probably even crazier.
Yeah, I think it's getting better. I think that we're handling our trauma better. Like
because people are more doing therapy more, I feel like right now.
Like our grandparents fucked our parents fucked us, but maybe our kids have a shot because we're working on it.
But I feel like every generation thinks that they're the generation that's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? They're like, my parents did, but I'm not. And then the next generation grows up and is like, wait, you really fucked me up, so I'm gonna fix it. And then it's just a loop that doesn't.
Yeah, it's
doesn't
again.
stop.
You don't know what you're gonna do until it happens.
Yeah, you really don't. And it's like it's funny because my mom always would be like, when I would be mad at her for doing something, I'd be like, how like that's crazy that she would be like, you should see what my father did instead. This is nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
That doesn't make it okay though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I feel like if I have kids, I'm gonna be thinking, okay, I'm just not gonna do what my mom did. But sometimes what your mom did maybe is the right thing, so you kind of want to do something similar but different, and then so you just inflict a different kind of trauma based on the one that was, inflicted on you, and then it's just a never-ending loop. That's why I'm terrified to have kids.
Man, I got pretty bad baby fever right now.
Do you?
Seeing these little babies in the airport and stuff. I just want to.
Airport babies gave you baby fever?
I know. Airport babies make me like think I'm on the right path.
Yeah, right? They make me go the opposite. I go, thank God.
Maybe not on the flight. Like I'm just seeing them walking around or something. I waved at a baby like last week, and one of the people I was with was like, don't wave at a baby. I'm like,
why? I always smile and wave at babies.
Yeah, what the hell? There's nothing wrong with waving at a little baby.
Yeah, but some of them get too excited, and then they come, and then they don't leave.
I think he's little. Like there was a guy next to me on the train today on the way here, and he was like playing peekaboo with the baby, and I was like, that's a little too much. What are we doing here?
Was the baby vibing, or was he just like?
It was kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like babies don't like peekaboo as much. Every kid I've done peekaboo with
this
just
baby
kind of
liked
stares.
It. Yeah.
And then just turns around, and I'm like, who started this? They don't like it that much.
Well, I mean, it's a new baby for a new day. Coming in at number 2.
I have 2?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote food.
Okay.
Think about food a lot.
Think about food all the time. If I'm not eating it, I'm thinking about how I want to eat it, but I shouldn't.
Yeah.
While I'm eating, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't be eating. I feel like food takes over a lot of my brain.
I would be a horrible homeless person because, like, if I'm hungry, it consumes me.
I don't think anybody thinks that would be great.
I think some people think they might be a good homeless person.
What would that look like?
I don't know. They like beans a lot. And
what would your angle be?
They don't mind being cold.
You write a sign. I feel like you'd write a funny sign, like.
I think I'd just jump off of a fucking bridge. I don't want to be homeless. Yeah, no, food consumes me a lot too. I think about it all the time. Do you ever just get sick of all food?
No.
Never?
Absolutely not.
I just get like tired of it. Like, I just
Never.
want a new food in my life sometimes.
Well, do you eat a lot of the same thing? Do you get obsessed over one certain food and then eat a lot of it and you're like, wait, I don't want to have this anymore?
Yeah, sometimes. Or just like, it's just like, I just never know what I want sometimes, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, what do I want to
Sure.
eat? Yeah.
Yeah, but not over it.
Mm.
Food cravings are the fucking worst
I
slash
know.
best.
Worst, best thing ever. It's crazy, man. It's like, yeah, I'm like obsessed. I feel like maybe women, we have it more than men.
I think so too. I think I'm an emotional eater in the sense that like I reward myself with food that I enjoy, especially after a hard day at work, or I like it's my like light at the end of the tunnel. Like, get through this,
Yeah.
and you can eat the whole pizza.
Yeah.
'Cause you
What's
deserve
your
it.
like pleasure food? Like really the one where you're like,
Pasta?
pasta, me too.
Pasta.
Women do love pasta.
I love
Yeah.
a
Can't
cheesy
get enough
pasta.
of it, you gals.
I really cannot get enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
Me
It's like
neither.
a
So
long, thin penis.
It's just the carbs, I guess. It just feels like it fills you up, and it's just so good. I fucking love pasta.
Mhm.
Yeah. And cheeseburgers
Yeah.
for me. A good cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think about cheesesteaks a lot because they're from Philly and like,
Yeah.
I can get them here, but it's just, different.
I got a Philly cheesesteak when I was in Philly and it was really good.
You remember where it was from?
It's that place where there's two right in front
Pat's
of
and
each.
Geno's?
Yes.
One of those? Yeah.
We
Alright.
brought two from there, two from here, and then we split them in half and had
Nice.
Yeah.
both. But I can't remember. There was one that was better, but
Mhm.
I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, they're fine. We only
Really?
have,
Is there like it's always like that? Like when the people who come into town and they're like, I want to go to that place. The locals
those
are
are the
like,
tourist
that's
place.
no. The
Yeah.
locals are like, there's actually a place you guys have never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
I should have went with you to Philly.
You should have just messaged me. Hey, Tom.
Yeah, it was 4 years ago.
I don't know if we knew each other 4 years ago.
It is really funny how
You made it seem like it was recently in my mind.
She's a professional.
Yeah.
Just making it.
I'm just
interesting.
I'm keeping it fresh. But when I think of you, Tom, I always think of that one time. We met a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess my last topic could be like meeting new people. Let's say that.
That's number one,
That's number one.
meeting new people.
About like
Okay.
communication and like people communication when
I
you
feel
meet
like we've
people
always
for the
been
first time.
friends, right? We've always had a
We've
from what I
always had
remember.
we've always had like a friendly, definitely. But I remember that one time. I have this thing that's in my head. I feel like people take a lot of things personally from other people when a lot
Mhm.
of the things are not personal to you. It's just people themselves. And I
That's
feel like
also one of the rules of agreement. So this is a good way to end the episode. Don't take
Ooh.
things personal.
don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like this is a thing that I started doing and that really changed a lot.
You can't
things
also
for
in,
me.
in this business. It's if you do take things personal, you're gonna
burn.
really lose it. But
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So we had met a few times, like, but scatteredly. Like me and Tom met like one time, and then 3 months later, and then 3 months, and then
Mm-hmm.
I saw you at New York Comedy Club. Like I think it was maybe 4 years ago again, and
Mhm.
then I was like, you came in, and I was like, hi, and you were like, hey, and I was like, I'm Natalie, and I knew we had met.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, it's happened to me so many times where I met people and I can tell they forgot me or they forgot my name.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that awkward moment of where I can tell they don't remember me and I remember them, and then they're uncomfortable by the fact that they don't remember me. So I always go, Natalie, just to go, I'm giving you my name.
And then I
Feel
don't remember this, but
comfortable.
I said to you probably we've already met.
So here's what you did. And it was just so perfect. You looked at me. And so that was that situation where I was like, I remember Tom. I know Tom.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm feeling that maybe he doesn't remember me.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just help him out and go, I'm Natalie. But he didn't hear all my thoughts. All he saw is, hey, I'm Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom shook my hand and he goes, hi, Natalie. I'm Tom, and this is the last time I do this with you.
So Tom.
Well, yo, because I host shows a lot, and like there was a lady comedian on a show recently who I brought up, right? She followed me on Instagram. I followed her back to be polite, and then the next time I saw her, she was like, "Hi, I'm this person." I'm like,
No.
how are we doing? What?
That's crazy to me.
So yeah,
Yeah, she was doubting you remembered her. That's confirmation. Like,
Yeah.
that lady's great.
Yeah.
Um,
and I was like, no, I swear I remember. I just in case you didn't. And he was just like still shaking my hand and just like dubiously looking at me. And I was like, oh no.
That's the best way to handle it, I think. I was afraid that you were gonna say I was like a dick to you, and that's passive aggressive, but also
yeah.
like
But it was
It's
hilarious.
also like I remember you. So yeah.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in this goofy business.
I hate when I say, nice to meet you, nice to see you. I don't fucking know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you doesn't make sense.
Nice to see you
nice to
is
see you.
always is my go-to.
Yeah.
Nice to see you because it works if you just met or if you've seen the person before.
Nice to see you is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Always.
Absolutely.
Never say meet you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Big mistake.
Because sometimes you see people in passing and you don't actually meet them, though. You know, like there's a difference to that, too. Because sometimes somebody's saying that, yeah, so.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, lose the again. We got to wrap up.
Yeah.
This was a great
That was
episode.
Great. So interesting. I love it. So
Thank God. I
different.
was so nervous as I was writing those. I was like, wallpaper, Natalie? Wallpaper.
Well, that was your, and then OCD kicked in.
And then also
Yeah, Natalie, where can the people find you?
on social media, on Instagram, Nat Your Color, and Twitter, Nat Your Color. It's like not your color, but with an A, Nat.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
And you're doing something on Netflix soon, aren't you? Did
Yeah.
I see that right?
Yeah. I'm taping us at the festival in LA. If you're in LA, you should come. It's April 27th.
Nice.
Awesome. Congrats.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Adele?
Follow me on Instagram, Adele_Carollo. And of course, follow Top 9, subscribe, write comments. I'll see you in the comments. Say hello.
Yeah, boy. TomCassidy.com. I have a new non-music video that I put out. I do these new non-music videos. It just came out today, which is yesterday, because that's when this comes out. I'm going to put it right there. So if you could, like that, share it, get it out there, baby. This has been another episode of Top 9 Podcast. Thank you, guys. We'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.